Welcome back to the WGL EU Season 1 Match Week 4, and we have one more game coming up for you today. So far, it's been a little bit of a up and down Playday. I think we had a very close first game, a very decisive second game. I don't know what that means for our third game, but we have two very good opponents. WUSA up against Stronk. What do you make of these two head-to-head?
We haven't had much of WUSA this season because, of course, that reschedule that happened last week with ASAP. So we'll see them more, of course, later on into the season. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, Stronk obviously did very well against No Mercy, which no one expected. They got a lot of experience in that team. But I think WUSA, they are very, very good. I mean, they had that 5-4 result against No Mercy at the beginning of the season, managed to win that tiebreaker, went against Ding 5-2, and Ding, you know, we saw in the last week that they are very good and they are very, very strong. So I think WUSA should, on paper, win this one with the experience. Not many lineup changes this season either. But I don't know. Stronk just seemed to be a team that can just
They can surprise, yeah. They can just kind of bring out these tactics or these plays, and you're like, where the hell did they get that from?
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, they can seem to pull it through. But still, talking about WUSA, I want to see them now start to excel because they're one of the unknown entities of this season so far. So Himmelsdorf, Lakeville in regular pick. That's interesting. Who do you think that's come out of?
That's come out of Stronk. But they lost 2-0 against.
Who was it?
Against Ding on this one.
And Ding looked really good.
Strong went twice on the attack. They lost both times. Ding very solid all round. And I guess that's the thing, you know, they saw what Ding did and they were kind of thinking, okay, what can we do ourselves? We've got a tiny little bit of experience now on this map, and maybe that's going to be enough to catch out WUSA. That's
huge. I'm really excited for Lakeville. That to me is my highlight game. Don't get me wrong, Himmelsdorf is always fantastic, but I don't think we're going to see anything too ingenious, too new. It's Himmelsdorf. You know, there's only so many variations. This map has been in the rotation since the start, I believe. Yep. I think we went to Winter Himmelsdorf, but
it was one of the first maps ever made in the game, and it was, yeah, apart from that variation between Himmelsdorf and Winter Himmelsdorf, it's been in the WOT Pro League and then the Wargaming League Europe since day one.
So Himmelsdorf has been one of the classics. Like we've seen it in both game modes being absolutely ample and fitting, which is another kind of signature of how good that map is.
I think it's the only classic one left, actually. Maybe, yeah, I think it's the only classic. Maybe Ruinberg.
No, Ruinberg was.
Yeah, Ruinberg wasn't in from the beginning one. No. It wasn't in the beginning. I think Himmelsdorf might be the only one left. Might be wrong on that one. Maybe Prokhorovka got removed.
Yeah, Prokhorov is gone. That would have been the other one.
Yeah, Mines has been in and out.
Mines came back in, but it went out.
Yeah.
we are just back down to Himmelsdorf. Oh, poor little Himmelsdorf. But it is brilliant, though, for a competitive map. I think we can discuss this properly, is the fact that it is actually equal almost on both sides. You get that real symmetrical kind of thing that we've now seen being applied to maps like Ghost Town. So it's kind of proven that even just a public map that works really well for more public-style games, when it's made perfectly, can be applied to esports, and now esports is kind of growing off the back of it. I absolutely love it.
It's one of those maps where it worked from the get-go. You know, there's been a lot of maps in World of Tanks, like hundreds of maps in World of Tanks. Most of them don't get released. I think it's like they said 1 in 3 maps gets released.
Wow.
Which is pretty a pretty low number. And Himmelsdorf just worked.
It's like the others.
Mines worked, Himmelsdorf worked. Cliff worked, but we don't have it this season.
Yep.
There's very few maps just work straight away, and there's not been that many adjustments to Himmelsdorf. Just, you know, that kind of, I don't know, that hill village play is just brilliant. I mean, it's
beautiful. It's been a great addition, and considering how different it was when we first saw it come to play, you saw the kind of 8-line standoff, you saw the hill standoff, you saw the adaptation off the back of it. If you guys out there remember, was it the WOT Pro League was what it used to be called? If you remember long enough ago when we were still under that title, in the likes of season 1 and 2 maybe. You remember how different that map was, or how different it was played out, and then you saw the kind of meta change, the teams adapt. We saw artillery being featured, taken away, come back. You saw Arclit doing some of the most beautiful artillery plays out of that map. It really has been one of my favorites throughout the entire season. And it's always surprising when teams don't want to play in those big offline finals because so many teams are so good at it. It's kind of like the Dust 2, you know, infamously known throughout every game just because everyone can play it. It's something that everyone's access to.
of World of Tanks.
Jesus. But no, it's quite funny actually. I was speaking to a couple of map designers, and the guy who originally made Dust 2 is still in the industry and is like, I don't even know how I made it that good. It was just lucky, I think.
Yeah,
It was like,
sure. I mean, like, that's how it works in these map designs. You know, Himmelsdorf was made when Wargaming was still small. Mine was made when Wargaming was still small.
It's fantastic,
so,
isn't it?
you know, they had the
actually applied.
250-man team, and it all just came together on this map. And I think a lot of people, you know, make map design less of a thing than it is. It's a huge part of each game.
Oh,
I mean,
it's massive.
DUS is a, you know, a great example. It just works as a map. And it not only just, I think it's the same. You know, Himmelsdorf is a popular map because the players like it. Yeah. It's like their bread and butter. They don't want you to take it away from them. It's like a prize poodle. Just don't take my prize.
Don't take the prize poodle of Himmelsdorf away.
Seriously, because they love it. And even if it's, you know, even there's maps which are technically better, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still their bread and butter.
Because the thing is, right, and this is the thing about we're having a discussion because other players are fixing some stuff. Just don't worry, we're not holding up the game. We are just having a chat because the players want to fix some bits and pieces, make sure they're ready for this matchup, because of course these points really do matter towards the late game of the season. So, or even early game, but late game especially. But it's like maps that you know like this, and the beauty of FPS games, this is something that I think if you're an FPS player, you'll understand, but people who are like into MOBAs or RTSs see like the really high strategic adaptions very clearly. Where in FPS games, you don't see all the small nuances that players know. Like, how many times has probably New Mulcho played Himmelsdorf? Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of times. And in his head, every single corner he'll peek, he knows the exact angle, the exact way to play it, and all of these small strategic changes and like moments that he'll have in the back of his mind will just be there. It's like muscle memory to him by that point. And that is the beauty of these maps. You see players playing at their best because, you know, Ghost Town, people are still learning. They're still learning these angles. They're still trying to find that, okay, in competitive terms, this is how I should play it. But you open up to like the bigger pool here and the bigger picture to include Himmelsdorf. These players are just playing so high skilled on it. It's unreal.
I think, you know, a good player will make it look easy. I think that's what defines a good player. Someone who can look like they're not concentrating, look like they're not doing particularly much in the head, but they're getting the kills and they're making work for them. That's what defines a good player. And as you mentioned, you know, these top players here, they make it look easy. And it's you got to look down at the finite detail of each movement. Get a replay, break it down to its bare bones, and see, okay, he moved his tank to that angle slightly there. You know, he had his gun aimed in that direction for that second because he knew that he could potentially get a shot on the cross. You know, I have all these kind of things that come into the game which make it, which for a normal player, they're like, yeah, I can do that, that's easy. You don't do it. And that's what makes a difference.
It does. It really does. Those small differences make such a big difference. It's every time when I play a new game or I'll go into a game, I'll sit there and I'm like, oh, that guy was just lucky. Sometimes I need to sit there and go, actually, I just made a mistake. Yeah. I didn't pre-aim the corner right. I didn't hold the correct angle. These small things make the biggest difference when you're playing at the top 1%. Bearing in mind, you may think that the teams, like, let's say, the lower end of this aren't very good, but you put them into like your generic servers, they will run Rampage. They are unbelievably skilled, these guys. It's hard to sometimes that people to understand, but when you play against the very best, you're not always going to be, you know, top fragging every single time, doing massive amounts of damage. Just holding your own is impressive.
For sure, it's really at the top 2%, top 1%, the top 0.5% these guys are playing at. But yeah, we're still waiting for Stronk, Siema, and WUSA to get ready. We should be in game again. You know, we've seen 2 matches already today.
Yep.
Tornado managed to beat Synergy in the 5-4 victory. It was an absolute thriller. Of course, when the VOD gets released on YouTube, you should probably almost certainly check that one out. But I don't know. We saw some good rounds. We get to see Himmelsdorf again for the third, as we've been talking about, the third time today. And of course, you know, it's been a good day of games. I think this last one's going to be a little bit more one-sided than the other two. Of course, you know, Penta showed ASAP how it's done on Ruinberg. But WUSA have had 2 wins now, back-to-back, both pretty convincing. And I don't know. I think Stronk have had a couple of shaky results, and really the only one which kind of was different was that 5-0 No Mercy stomp down.
I just realized it's almost been 2 years since like the first season.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
How's Paul Challoner and Stephen Neal that used to do that?
I'm having a little look at it right now. I'm checking out the VODs. It's
it might
very
blind
exciting. I'm watching. It's going to be Meet Your Makers up against Seven Sins. God, they're 2 names I haven't said in a while. Dear Lord. But
to be fair, I imagine
still players
Seven Sins is a
there.
Polish team. There's probably players there. Meet Your Makers, of course, now pretty much Team Supreme in some respects.
Some players have come across.
Ron.
Yeah, Ron was there.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy. How it's changed, though, it's incredible. But anyway, the teams are getting ready. If you guys yourself want to actually check out what we're talking about, go over to the WGL EU YouTube channel and go back as far as you can.
It's WOT Pro League.
Yeah, the Pro League was the original one. That still has it on it. Look at this. Winnie the Pooh's still there. YR, Ron. There's players we're looking at today, positive, that are still around. They were in Seven Sins. They were playing Himmelsdorf that I'm watching at the moment. So make sure you go and watch him out. Like, it is so cool seeing the development of these players. If you want to go and see, how does that one guy still play so well in that one spot? Because he's been playing it for 2 years competitively, let alone prior to that, and the thousands of hours he's poured into it. These guys are insane at what they do. So let's get excited for this one. We are finally into game. We do apologize for the small delay there. Teams were just sorting themselves out, but we are live and we are on the classic, the beautiful Himmelsdorf. On the attack, it's going to be WUSA. On the defense, it's going to be Stronk. And what do we make of it so far?
So we've seen WUSA play this map like 2 or 3 times this season. They've won all 3 times. 2 on the attack, which is, I mean, not unsurprising, as we've mentioned. Himmelsdorf slightly more biased towards the attack these days. You'll see a lot more aggressive movements from the defensive side. So let's see what happens. We got Strong Siema going straight towards that A line, not messing about. 5100 up into A2 with the IS3 as well to provide some cover there. But WUSA just, they want to get that information. You got the T-37 of Siege spotting out speed. And once that's happened, you'll see immediately, he spotted him, he's going to retract back, and WUSA's going to make the first move.
Yeah, and WUSA are the favoured team here. They're the team that should be able to, you'd argue, pick up at least one of the 2 attacking rounds, I'd say personally, for their caliber against Stronk. I still like to see the overall bias so far of teams winning attack against defense, but at this sort of level, it does come down to the 2 teams against each other. What are their stats like? You have to kind of break it even further. But WUSA taking their time in this one, quite cautious. No decisive moves like the last couple of games. No,
first shell does go towards the Plunkett. So I think the WUSA's best option would be up the 8 line. I don't know. No, I think that would be their worst option. I mean, you've got that control I was talking about in that last game between ASAP and Penta. Strong Siema is really holding all the angles there. I think the only option WUSA has is towards the left side. Get that T-37 off the hill and just put it in the cap in A2. You've got the 5100 and IS3. That's pretty easy to deal with. The rest of Strong Siema will be pretty slow as well. And amazingly, Siege has managed to take speed down to half HP, or maybe that was another tank. But yeah, I think this is going to be. Ooh, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure if WUSA's looking towards the middle or exactly how they're going to work this one out. Yeah, they're going to go through the middle.
It's quite brave. I guess they're going for it. I thought it was going to be the old school 8-line push after what we were talking about, but apparently they want to go straight across, go straight in for that real chunk of aggression there. Just try and get the control. Now Lucas and Racing aren't far from this. This could be a problem. As soon as they peek through here, they slow down. They're being cautious on that little peek. Nice work from Lucas, though, to connect the first. Roofy and Vitilian going to have to be a little cautious about this one. Vet Lion, depending on how you want to mispronounce it like we do. And at the moment, it looks like slowly but surely WUSA are getting in a good position maybe to make a play towards the northeast, but Stronk are holding this well. Yeah,
Stronk are making things awkward for WUSA. You can see WUSA struggling to find a good angle here. You got the 5100 behind. I mean, Dzanichta and Siege have a nice little bit of breathing room because speed's down to half HP. And I've really been liking how Dzanichta has made that transition between TCM and WUSA and seems to be on top of form. Him and Stefan have been a beast in the last couple of matches. But now, it seems that WUSA are slowly starting to work Strong Siema back. But, of course, Catch Me... Oh, he actually peeks there, and that's a big mistake. Oh, he doesn't peek, he gets spotted by Siege. So that's going to make a big difference. Catch Me was expecting Line to head around the corner. He's been spotted. We saw how beastly the T-37 can be, so Catch Me is pretty much stuck where he is.
And if you just keep your eyes on Roofy, he's been making shots through the tiniest of gaps in those broken down buildings. It's been wonderful. He's been landing shell after shell towards Lucas, and it's been really put him on edge. But Catch Me and Neojek going to start looking for maybe some, try and find their own sort of angle, try and create a new crossfire here, maybe towards Roofy and Lion, and they might be able to just do that.
Yeah, they are going to come around. This is a classic move here from Strong. Once you have that middle area, the logical thing to do is just surround it and come for an angle and try and do a lot of damage, but that's that 5100 spot I was talking about from behind that is actually stopping this one. But Hallucinogen, 1,031 hit points straight off him.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble there. He's just kind of lost all of his potency to his position. He's got to be a little cautious, but Racing is in between a rock and a hard place, but completely goes unspotted. Carvey is not doing the damage. I think that one bounced, but it's leaving them in a great spot here. And actually, Stronk cleaning up does. Sure, he got Stu down, but look at the HP. 5k against 3. AOJ going on a bit of a suicide mission straight towards the middle of the map, but why not? No one else has got presence there. He can take it over, but Siege finds speed, and WUSA aren't giving up just yet.
Roofy's in a pretty good position behind that wreck. He can stay alive, but Guccio finds the top of that one, but it was a 1-for-1 exchange.
Carvey should have the advantage here, but now Guccio is going to come around as well. Pluckett is trying to bail him out, and these crossfires being put into position. Durs needs to be useful in this situation, but he's on reload. He can't get into this, and so is Hallucinogen. So far, those 5100s are completely out of position at the moment. They're completely useless. And
Carvey's in a really awkward position. Racing just takes him down. Swedish player falling there. Now, it is a 4 versus 4, but WUSA are trailing about 1.6k, 1.8k HP points.
And 2 of the tanks are still on reload for 15 more seconds. This should be Strong cleaning up, and it looks like they are. Hallucinogen and Siege, last 2 alive, and bearing in mind how much damage Hallucinogen suffered earlier in this game, this should be very much a clean pickup for Strong, and WUSA being put back in their place here.
Yeah, pretty easy for Strong, actually. 2.1k, 2.2k almost is a convincing amount of hit points against a team like WUSA to have in the end, and Hallucinogen won't find any of those shells, and Catch Me will surely finish off this round.
There we go.
Doesn't even get a shot against Catch Me. Maybe Hallucinogen struggling that round.
Yeah, he just wasn't in the game at all. When he finally got into the action, well, he was already down so low on HP, the reload came in, and he didn't have shots to make, so really, WUSA looking a little shoddy there. I've got to say, they didn't look very competent like normal. They didn't look as decisive, and what went wrong for them then?
I think it was good play by Strong Siema to actually come around from the side. I think C should have been on the hill providing support for Hallucinogen so he can make the shots against the 5100s there. Then you kind of saw the whole adaptation where, WUSA went in for the engage, but, Strong Siema had great angles around those corners. Carvey was caught in between a rock and a hard place. I think the WUSA just made a fundamental mistake. Strong Siema had that whole 8 line covered. WUSA should have gone for that left side 100%.
Maybe just not scouting enough, do you reckon? Or what made them go for this? Because surely they would have, I don't know, surely they could have worked something out by now. There's still 4 minutes on the clock, and they were making a really decisive play this early on. Are they just trying to steamroll over Stronk?
I don't think that was a bad thing. I think they went straight forwards because they had the 5100 behind to provide support. You can have the 2 IS3s go forwards, but Strong Siema just weaseled their way into the game. They had good damage from the side. You had the Lucas Shiasti Racing and Guccio do fantastic work. Guccio's been amazing this whole season so far. The top damage dealer in 2 games for his team. And, I just think WUSA went for the obvious play, and you need to be a little bit more finesse on this map. You have a little bit more finesse. I think 1-2-3 line wouldn't have gone amiss, or go for that super aggressive style Virtus Pro sometimes go for, and it does work.
WUSA just kind of fading away, and at this point, Durs and Hallucinogen will make their last shell very soon, and both 5100s on reload at the same time. Is that something we should ever see, or is that an error
it's
coming from them?
It's a massive deal. Look, you can see it's 4 versus 5 right now, and WUSA lose it, but it's a K damage in favor of Strong Siema. But yeah, I mean, you have both 5100s on reload. It's a huge 40, 50 seconds in a crucial period of the game where you have absolutely no firepower, and you're just dead weight at that point. I mean, you really need to have that whole. You need to have that thing where either you're in the lead in hit points because of the 5100s, or one's off reload, one's on reload, or both are off reload. So
they need that synergy.
They weren't
there
in any of those positions.
Yeah, so not going well for them, but teams will be getting themselves ready for the second round, hopefully very soon. These two like to take their time, it seems, but I do hope they are all good and ready to roll out, because I want to see more of that World of Tanks action. And so far, Stronk are actually leading, something I didn't expect to be saying, but the teams are ready and they are underway. They knew what I wanted. So here we go. Stronk on the defense, WUSA on the attack, and well, very similar lineups.
Yeah, double IS3, quadruple IS3, double 5100, T37 from both teams. You can see Strong Siema going aggressive down that 1-2-3 line. Kind of surprising that they're doing that. I mean, they got Catch B in behind. I'm not sure. We'll see how that one works out. But WUSA going to the left side as well. Sish on the hill. So for them, it's a very similar start, a same start as they did in the previous round. And if Stronk Siema can get some initial damage, it's going to go very badly for WUSA. But the fact that Sish hasn't spotted anything, basically, apart from that 5100, it's going to be sending alarm bells ringing for WUSA.
Yeah, there's going to be that question raised, and this is another point that people may not notice on the surface of things. When you don't spot something, and you expect to be able to at that point, you question where they are. You question, why aren't they across that D line? Why don't I see them on the 8 line? What's going on here? I don't see them at B9. You've got to start asking these questions, and I think they've slowed down. They're being a little cautious here because there certainly is a play at hand, and Hallucinogen has been so caught out in these games so far. He's really starting to struggle. Already down to about 1k HP, and he's the first person to be hit on.
Yeah, and these IS3s now in a fantastic position. You know, they're just heading straight through. Hallucinogen on his own, he's going to have to turn left. But Carvey, Vidline, and Roofy could do great damage on the cross.
They should be able to as well. Classic plays like this. But only 379 damage? That was very poor. And actually taking about the same off the back of it, if not more. Roofy gets a beating from the 5100s. And this play from Stronk is inspired. This is beautiful to watch. They're trying to chase down Hallucinogen. Racing could be a little in trouble here. He's got to be a bit cautious. He's actually been caught out. Racing does eventually take down Hallucinogen, suffering 2 shells for that commitment. But look at this battle. This is a side of the map we don't often see it on. So down in the lower southern side, we're seeing Stronk really bringing across an aggressive playstyle.
But it's still pretty close. I mean, Roofy just gets away with that one, but Aojek finds him, and Roofy, just a bad play, didn't get the shell off in time and couldn't take down Aojek, leaving Carvey on his own.
I'm amazed at this. I don't know who's really leading at this point because it could just swing at any second, but Stefan and Durs picking up the kills. That's going to bring it at least a touch to WUSA's favor, but the HP is still as strong. They've still got players who've got so much HP to work with. Catch Me commits towards Vet Lion, but Speed can't get there in time to supplement it. But Carvey does go down. Siege picks up Speed, and you're still seeing some bit of fight left in WUSA here. Can the strong side find these players? Stefan is on reload. He doesn't have a shot to make, but smart choice from Stu to take down Vet Lion, but now they need to follow up the damage. Catch Me around the backside, brilliantly creating this sort of crossfire, but the corpse of his fallen teammate certainly littering the way, but Catch Me still delivers. And Durs and Siege, last 2 standing.
Durs did a lot of damage against Hojek, but he was also left on his own without any targets to shoot at, so Durs just coming off reload. And that's the problem, you know, often when the 5100s are on their own and unsupported, they are just awkward at the end of the battle and pretty useless, as Lucas Shiasti might find himself in trouble against Designator, but still has that repair kit and gets out of there pretty much scot-free.
Yeah, Durs and Siege, last 2 up, being chased down here. And I'm very impressed with Stronk so far, considering they're the ones on the defending side. They've done wonders, but Siege, and T37, not wondrous, not 2k damage. Lovely shot from Catch Me on the cross, and now 211 HP. Should, in theory, be a one-shot if they hit this one well. We've seen a couple of low rolls, but I think these guys should be fine to clean Siege up quite comfortably, and Catch Me will do just that. Stronk going to pick up 2 rounds back-to-back against WUSA.
No words, really ridiculously amazing from them. First of all,
really well played.
First of all, proving that they can play the standard style on Himmelsdorf, and then adapting and going aggressive on that second time. And obviously mistakes from WUSA, for instance. I think they should have hit those shells on the cross. I mean, IS3 has got like I think like a 3 seconds aim time, depending on what kind of equipment you have. But still, you know, it was 4 IS3s and all of them missed apart from 1. If it hit, it would have been a different game, I think.
It really would have. And I just want to point out again how impressed I am with Stronk. Such confidence. Really competent at it as well. They had a plan in mind. They were able to create those kind of very last-minute style crossfires in that southern area of Himmelsdorf, which does have a lot of these kind of overlapping roads or crossroads that you can create them in, and they defined it very well. I don't know what to make of it so far. You guys at home were backing WUSA already. PTI Fisher saying Himmel for WUSA 4-0. Next will be harder, so 5-3 for WUSA, or something around those markers. Not looking good so far for WUSA. And WUSA used to have quite a big fan base, quite popular. I think Stronk showing up and they're saying, well, screw you guys, we're the underdogs and we're going to take it further.
It's just weird though, like Stronk they've had 2 games where they've been really, really struggling, and then they've had 1 game where they've been playing like this, where they've just been going forwards, taking kills, being aggressive, being confident. So it looks like that second version of Stronk we're getting today. But still, they've got a lot of work to do. WUSA now on the defensive side, but you know, two defensive sides now for Stronk Siema. It's a great scoreline. Normally we see like 1-1 or 2-0 to the attacking team, but this is a great start here for the Polish team.
Well, I know you Polish fans out there are pretty vocal most of the time. Give us your thoughts. Hashtag WGLEU. Get this out there. Get it on Facebook. Tweet it out yourself. Put the link out there and help promote the stream. We love having you guys here, so do make sure you get involved. It's always great hearing from you on all of the platforms. I know Melly's not here today, and I do apologize. You know, she has work to do. She has to, you know, study for exams, and we miss her desperately. There is just an empty, sad, sad chair in the corner of the studio that I just look at every now and then when I feel Ollie's not being abused. Don't go to that camera shot. It makes me miss her. Look, there's just the headset there.
There's the headset, the lonely headset on its own. It's upsetting. I give you that.
It is. It is. You've had a lot of freedom to say what you want this Playday. You're pretty liking it.
I'm also being very cautious because in case Melly does watch the VOD back.
She will. That's the thing. She's sat there at home. She's probably got it muted for now, so she's just watching.
She's not tweeting just to make sure that in case we do anything, say anything, she hasn't got the old scoop on us, so...
Exactly. We're keeping the upper hand for now, but I believe the teams are almost ready. But if you miss Melly, you know, get on Twitter and give her a hello. M3LLY, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just put an E in there, maybe. I don't know.
It makes sense. But anyway, go wish her good luck in her exams because the teams are almost ready. Let's turn our attention back to World of Tanks and what to expect. Because they will have switched sides now, so we're going to see maybe it was a one-trick pony coming out from, you know, Stronk. Maybe they'll suffer a little now when the sides get switched, but I've got a feeling they want to play today, and I think the WUSA is sadly just going to be standing in their way. So, Stronk now on the attack, WUSA on the defense. Lineups, nothing to write home about, really.
Nope.
Exactly the same, apart from the T32, actually.
Yeah, we've got Vitline and the T32, so maybe going to be sitting himself up into the D5 area, like we saw in the previous round between Synergy and Rox. In the first round between Synergy and Rox, sorry. But looks like WUSA taking leaf out of Stronk Siema's book, getting that right side covered off and defended. You got Hallucinogen at 5100 and Siege aggressive in the middle. We've seen him there before, so perhaps not too unexpected. But I'm really looking forward to see if WUSA have a strategy here, because I don't think they expected on their map to be 2-0 down. And
what is Stronk doing?
That was bad.
That was really bad.
And even if he got away with that and 2 IS3s hadn't managed to get the peak on him, Siege would have been there in the background just to finish him off. So.
And why are they all down in the south? I'm confused, Ollie. Explain to me what Stronk are doing.
I think they expected WUSA to be super aggressive. I mean, this is the thing. WUSA have really only played the attacking side on Himmelsdorf so far in the league. So Stronk Siema are expecting WUSA to do what they did before and be aggressive and go forwards and get the early damage of that information. But yeah, Stronk Siema got 2 heavy tanks on the hill, reset the timing a little bit, and seemed to have shoved 2 minutes down the drain. And are now started to head to that left side and leave Ojek, who's team captain for Stronk Siema, on his own to try and get these peaks.
I'm not sure about this. it feels like Stronk's overly read into maybe something that they saw WUSA do, or just overly kind of thought this one through and just, as you said, wasted a lot of time here. Although the western side is completely open. Siege is not heading that way either, so I guess they're going to get a free west cap started at least.
Yeah, this is nice for WUSA. This is actually interesting. I mean, it's nice for Stronk Siema, excuse me. I mean, WUSA's been entirely distracted by the 1 or 2 tanks now on the hill.
What?
And it's just left this whole left side open as racing, as Siege just gets deleted there, and that's a 1-4 exchange. Both tier 6s now down, and WUSA just don't seem to be in a position really to deal with this cap for at least another 20 seconds.
I think maybe they had a plan. Maybe they knew all along. Maybe I shouldn't have doubted them. But now I want to see the rest of this plan, because this cap is great, but they're going to be overmatched pretty darn soon. Those IS3s are en route. That T32 is en route, and let alone the 5100. But it's going to be pretty damn close here. 9 seconds left. Hallucinogen, Roofy. The IS3s probably won't make it there in time. If they hide this out, this could be ingenious. 3 seconds now. Oh, the shots are coming in, but Stu's not in the cap circle. The cap is still going. I believe they might have just done this.
Yep.
Oh my God, Stronk.
The plan was unforeseen by any of us. And
ingenious bastards. I shouldn't say that word, but that was incredible. If they meant that, that is the best strategy we've seen all season. If they meant it. I'm not sure if they did, but they brought everyone to the northeast side and went and capped on the west.
Exactly. I mean, putting tanks on the hill, baiting WUSA into shooting towards those tanks, and you know, when you have tanks on the hill, you want to get control over that middle area and the 8 line. So WUSA just did not expect that. They got tunnel vision towards those tanks. Stronk sitting all the way back, and then just immediately heading towards the left side and sitting tanks in the cap. And also just WUSA, come on, I mean, most teams at that point, they know what they know that, okay,
yeah, there's something
wrong here. Okay, there's one IS3 there, but where are the rest of the IS3s? And then you kind of think, oh, we're going to go up north. Siege got absolutely deleted on his own in that position there.
I'm blown away Siema by this. Like, look, how are they all falling for this? They're like, oh, we had a couple of 5100s, you know, on the western side, but let's pull them back just in case this one IS3 appears out of nowhere and, you know, formulates another plan. How? How have they fallen?
I don't know
for
why. I'm not sure if every single tank on WUSA have disconnected. Because we're 5 minutes and 18 seconds into this. You can see the Strong Siema are just charging across that K line. And Hallucinogen just, I'm going to shoot AOJect for a little bit. Siege.
And I thought Siege was going to go and check.
Siege does go and check, but he gets destroyed. And even if he does go and check, where are the rest of his team? Normally you see like the AMX 1500 and A2, you see the IS3s in the middle, you know, and eventually they do go for it, but it's 3 tanks there. Lucas Yasti can't get hit. Guzio and Racing can't get hit until they all commit.
I love the way they almost put Stu in a position where they think if we hit him, it'll be the one to decap it almost. I swear to God, this could be the most ingenious thing I've seen in a long time. Like, Stu is not in a position where he's actually affecting the cap. So he's the one who gets spotted, and sure, they see a couple of others. And they're like, sure, let's kill Stu. Okay, that's a great idea. And not worry about the other guys who are actually capping this out. So really well played. Guys, at home, was this complete and utter sheer luck, or was it the most ingenious tactic we've seen so far? Hashtag WGLEU, because I'm not sure. I don't know. I think
WUSA needed another 7 seconds to get that decap. 7 seconds is a gulf of time.
That is a plan and a half. Well played, Stronk. All right.
Nice. 3-0 against WUSA. Did not expect that at all. The comebacks are real, otherwise, you know, it's going to be bad news. We've seen now 2 tactics from Strong Siema which have been interesting, a little bit dynamic, and that second round we just saw them was ingenious with the timings and the bait from them as well. Maybe knowing that WUSA would be setting up towards that 8 line, I just think WUSA just should have reacted.
WUSA should have known better.
Even if the bait is there, come on, don't take it.
Like, anyone in this league should know better by now. But what is Strong going to bring out now? What is their ingenious plan now? I just want to watch these guys all day long. I don't know. Because WUSA seems absolutely dumbfounded by it.
I'd actually, you know, the thing is, you know, what was amazing there was that the fact that Strong Siema knew that Siege was in the middle. When Siege is in the middle, he spots from A5 down to K5. And if those IS3s are headed across, then they would have all got spotted. Then WUSA would have had the information. But because they didn't, WUSA thought they'd either be on the hill where AOJect was, or they'll be on the 8 lines, on an 8 line attack somewhere.
Oh, Siege is just going to get ruined here. But doesn't get any information really for either. Sure, he spots that there's no one sitting down by the bottom of the 8 line, but that IS3 play coming out of the 8 line, what is this? This seems like WUSA's just gone crazy off the back of it now. Yeah,
they want blood basically, just going forwards. They didn't get spotted there on the 8 line, only Siege did. But again, Strong Siema are in a pretty decent position. We see the line there being spotted, but speed gets deleted. But good information for Strong Siema. They know they can get that cap pretty carefree, and with 3 tanks in there, it only takes about 30 seconds. So again, it's about WUSA going forwards and being aggressive, but they're doing the right thing here. The cap probably isn't the right idea. They know they can get the overmatch up north. They're going to take a little bit of damage, but in the end, they're going to win out.
And Steroids always taking a beating. That position up in A1 is really, really impressive. Hallucinogen will pick up Stu, so that's not too surprising here. And Stronk are going to start struggling. They are down on HP. They're trying to get Vet Lion gone. That T-32 has such staying power, but these guys are just holding down forward. They're not stopping.
No, and you can see the IS-3s are now trundling across the middle of the map. Those tanks held their ground for long enough that this might be WUSA's game now. You can see 2K, 3K hit points in their favor.
I don't know if there's any turning around. WUSA should close this, but I'm starting to doubt WUSA. I'm waiting for Stronk to pull out some ingenious play again, but it seems that it's just kind of fizzled out this time, kind of overpowered by the positioning, and WUSA just not being as hap-handed. Lucas taking a lot on the run, and well, you've got to say this has got to be WUSA's game.
Yeah, this is WUSA's game. Stu Weinstein there pretty much gave the game away there for Strong Siema. They needed him alive to do the burst damage against the IS-3. He didn't, and it cost Strong Siema dearly, but still, you know, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4. At the end of the day, I mean, who cares? It's still a 3-1 scoreline on Himmelsdorf, and this is not even their map yet.
That's a really good point. This isn't their map. Well, that's yet to come, but as said, this has been a bit of a one-sided one. WUSA this time just looking substantially stronger, as they have been able to withhold against Stronk, who are very aggressive in this and just kind of played it straight off the bat. And there we go. Roofy does close out towards racing. WUSA managed to keep 4 tanks alive with 4K hit points, HP. And yeah, they just looked strong all the way through. I've just got to say that Stronk 3-1 now up. WUSA finally got into it on the last round. What the hell are we going to get in the next map?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've only seen Lakeville 2 times. Maybe we saw it before. We saw I think the Supreme played it as well. So we've seen it a few times now. We saw Supreme dominating, but it's Supreme. They dominate pretty much anything these days.
True.
I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, of course, Stronk, they're heading on to the defensive side first on Lakeville, which means, you know, playing down south, being dynamic, being a little bit aggressive here. You can see Siege doing the right thing going forwards. Last time he lost the round because he didn't predict that the A5, the K5 push would come out. But I think WUSA going forwards, getting the flank on, giving Strong Siema a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. But then I think if Strong Siema had Struyoid alive at line, wouldn't have been so hard to kill, wouldn't have lived so long, and wouldn't have give WUSA's IS-3 the opportunity to get into the fight.
That's a good point. It's quite funny. I was just reading a couple of feedback points about the game. People were like, oh, Stronk had thrown away when they went for that Western cap, because they saw them, why are they camping in the south? And everyone's doubting them, and now they're like, best tactic ever. Suddenly everyone's on the Strong train. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a very short break to allow the team some time to get prepared for map number 2. And I think it's time we need to get prepared for map number 2. If Stronk has any plans in mind, like we've just seen on Himmelsdorf, this is going to be a fantastic game. Currently sat at 3-1, guys, so don't go too far away. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the WGL EU Season 1, Match Week 4, and we are into the final game. And what could be the final map? Lakeville coming up here between Stronk and WUSA, and it's currently sat at 3-1. So ingenious play on Himmelsdorf certainly took it to that sort of degree, but what do you make of this one so far? Because we've got I wouldn't say a brand new map, obviously it's been in rotation a little bit, these players know what they're doing, but a very unknown element to this sort of competitive degree coming up. Yeah,
really a map we haven't seen a lot of at all. We've seen less of Ghost Town, surprisingly, actually.
Yeah,
but
I thought we'd see more of that.
Those two have been pretty balanced right now. We just don't seem to be seeing them. And in my opinion, it's not a great thing. I mean, if the map's liked by the teams and people would play them, having two maps which people don't play is just unnecessary, in my opinion. But, you know, they just need to get used to them, play them a little bit more, get more comfortable, more confident on them, and I'm sure we'll see them more throughout the season. But, yeah, we've got Stronk on the defensive side here on Lakeville. 3-1 up, you know, a very impressive couple of rounds here.
Oh yeah.
On the defensive side, especially, really impressive that they managed to throw off WUSA. And WUSA a little bit set in stone, a little bit rigid in their play.
I agree.
And I hope to God that they actually practice the attack side on Lakeville, because it certainly isn't a walk in the park.
Well, we're going to find out very soon. And for those who may not know Lakeville as well as the others, what are the main components of this map? You know, how does it play out? Because it's got a lot of different elements to it.
Sure. So the most important part is that middle road. If you have the middle road, you can control a lot. You've got a little bit of cover there. You can shoot towards the eastern side. You've got two caps, which are both down south. One is on the kind of higher area, which is directly next to the middle road, and then you got one down to the lower area, which is more towards the right side. In my opinion, like, one team, if it managed to get that left side cap, is going to be, I mean, it's going to be a godlike team, because it's so hard to get up that hill without actually dying. So really the only option is that right side cap. Team Supreme played for it every single time. It's a big map. Artillery, we saw played by Ron, was an absolute beast, you know, hitting 1k, 1.5k damage.
Very nice.
Heavy tanks, very good. But again, you know, controlling that middle road, not going too light, you know, not overcomplicating things here. And I think artillery is a necessity, because it can really punish you if you do be too defensive, too static, too still on the southern side. I
do agree, and my mind goes back to the LTTBs that were in play. There was two, weren't there, down almost the central road. Well, not central, but you know what I mean. Yeah. They made a huge impact on this map. Do you think we might see that again here?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the LTTBs on any kind of map where you can exploit is great. I mean, we've seen it on Mines plenty of times. Where we have a lot of engagements in one area. You'll see the LTBs immediately head around, go to another area, exploit, see what you can do. You know, we've seen Kazakru do it. We saw Team Supreme do it. But the thing is, Team Supreme's always a hard one to call, because it's such a good team that it kind of negates, it encroaches on the tactical gameplay.
True.
Actually in World of Tanks, so it's always a hard one to see through, and we have to of course see if, you know, Strong Siema, if they can continue their run, because right now they only need to pick up 2 rounds and they're in favor because they're on the defensive side, and B, if WUSA's really going to sit on their laurels and, you know, let Strong Siema now, you know, pick up these next 2 rounds, or if they're going to provide something which, you know, will shock us and give us a couple of good rounds. Yeah,
because reading what you guys at home were thinking about the last map, especially Daniel Smith saying, confused how poor WUSA's start has been. We should be seeing much better play from these guys, and I completely agree. I think WUSA's one of the teams that should be giving us some better games. Being 3-1 down to Stronk is not what I expected from them this season.
I didn't either. I think WUSA, you know, 2 wins now in a row. The third one now looking like they are going to possibly lose it. I guess the only excuse they have is that they didn't actually play last week, because you know, it goes back and forwards, and at the end of the day, if you have a week break, it can actually affect you there a little bit. But at the end of the day, whatever. WUSA can come back from this. They just have to continue going forwards and actually commit to a win here.
I agree, and everyone else out there seems to be kind of on the same sort of thought, and even there on Twitter, hashtag WGLEU from Imprez says, that tricky cap from Stronk left me speechless, and all that distraction play from Aojek really took the toll on towards WUSA. And I wonder if we're going to see something ingenious like that again. It could be a factor. I believe the teams are almost ready. Where's your prediction?
I have to go with Stronk.
Well, I'm with you on that one. I think I can't doubt them after that strategy. But guys, let's introduce you to one of the new maps, Lakeville.
can't tie him in this game mode, mate.
Welcome into the beautiful map, the picturesque map that is Lakeville. So, WUSA with 1 round on the defense, Stronk with 3 on the attack, and how the hell does Speed already have damage taken?
I think he just got shot in the back by the old Racing 7, so...
Wow, Racing, that's just mean.
That's a bit harsh, but maybe it's even WUSA pushing up into the village. But you can. It's really interesting. Most teams on the defensive side just seem to have gone towards the, the K3, 4, 5 area. But WUSA being aggressive, they got those IS3s. They're being very pokey in towards that right side, which in my opinion could work out for them. And Guzio, Steroids all sitting back. Now I have seen this before. I think Na'Vi actually did this tactic where they went all the way up and towards this slow valley area, and then push down and actually manage to cap with a hull down. So let's see how that one works out. I'm not sure if WUSA's really prepared for this either.
Well, Line's there, Sish is there, and there comes the spots. There we go. Line and the LTTB will get the spots and the information now. The 110 and the IS3s are pretty far away, but they're going to be turning tail, and the IS3s for Stronk won't probably make it there in time. So the T-54s are going to have to do all the damage, and this is a very brave play or a very stupid play.
This is a great play. I mean, I don't think WUSA's going to be back in time. Does Anicta and Stefan will be, so it depends if those IS3s of Guzio and Steroids can actually do damage towards those 54s that are now crossing, and Vitline and Siege staying alive is also very important.
Yeah, Stefan was, and excuse me, Durs was the initial target, then he's down to 733, but Vitline and Siege are staying alive. Those LTDBs are not going down just yet. They're doing what they can, and every single second they do not cap, it's just more and more time for those IS3s to catch up. Guzio and Steroids aren't there either. They may be able to get the cross soon, but Siege still alive, and Catch Me's in trouble. Lucas needs to pick up the slack, and here we go. Lucas does do the blocking maneuver. He does try and get in the way, but still 40 seconds on this cap. That's a long time to wait this one out.
I'm really surprised that WUSA isn't being more aggressive. They're a little bit worried perhaps that if they do lose their LTTBs, that Lucas Shiasti is going to be doing great damage. Also worried about those IS3s. So I think right now WUSA's stuck in a position where, do we just cross through the middle or the south and actually try and get this cap down, or do we commit onto Guzio and Steroids? It's a very tricky situation for them.
This is the point, isn't it? Looking at it now, all the tanks in the southwest are getting the cap going, and they can't cross without Guzio or Stu being able to see them. And this is a real predicament for WUSA. And my God, don't tell me this is happening again. If they do, oh, thank God these resets are coming in. It's still pretty dangerous, and that's why Lucas delivers. 6 seconds now on this cap. Durs is going in. Durs has to try and make the difference. Any shot hitting now is massive, but I don't think he's going to get it done, and the fire comes out. Guzio catching him on the cross. This is absolutely stunning play from Stronk, pulling out something that we don't often see, and again, they're showing how good they can be on these maps.
The absolute speed of those T-54s caught WUSA by surprise. They just immediately, as soon as they spawned, just rotated up. Despite Racing doing a little bit of team damage there, WUSA did not spot them at all. They didn't get a single spot. They had no idea where those T-54s were. In my opinion, WUSA should have had an inkling, because where the hell else could they be? And then the IS3s held their ground. Guzio and Steroids holding their ground there, making sure that WUSA doesn't get too far forwards, doesn't actually catch those T-54s. And
exactly that. It was the fact that not only did they plan the initial move of those T-54s going into the cap, getting that started, and then winning out, as you can see here. This wasn't the big plan. Those IS3s up in the northeast, keep your eyes on them as this one unfolds, because eventually they get into a position where they hold back all of WUSA's eastern forces. I think Stefan may have made it across, or maybe Durs in the end. But regardless, they took it into what? A 4v2 with Siege and Vitline. They win that. They keep the cap pressure on. They find the angle that works, and then they stop the cross. This is just really intelligent play from Stronk, and just leading WUSA across this map.
And I thought actually Stronk would be on the defensive side first. I was 100% they were going to be on the defensive side, but you know,
you've got caps like that.
They were on the attacking side. But here's the thing. If a team willingly chooses the attacking side on Lakeville, you're thinking, what can they do? Because they're not going to do the standard stuff. They will have something in the bag. And if I was WUSA, I'd be thinking, okay, we've seen teams do X, Y, and Z on Lakeville. Let's make sure we have that down. But also, what are they going to do after that? What are they going to do, which is really unusual?
And I love this. Guccio and Steroids, those IS3s eventually get into position, and there's almost that invisible line. They're drawing the battleground lines, and Stefan has to get into these positions to decap, to try and reset. And now his option's gone. Durs has to now commit. He goes flying, and look at this shot from Guccio coming in. A little bit of damage from the T-54s comes in. He's now got a shell, waits for it, delivers. That is the difference between winning a game and losing a game sometimes. If he didn't hit that shot, maybe Durs could have reset. Maybe something else could have happened, but that, to me, is really beautiful World of Tanks.
Yeah, it's my highlight player from every time Stronk has played so far. I mean, he's been a beast. Just 2 out of 3 games has been a top damage dealer. He's been fantastic. And, you know, an experienced player and definitely a good aimer at the same time. So it's really the best of both worlds. But still, you know, second round now coming in and Strong Siema leading 4-1.
I don't know what to make of this, and these guys will now be known as the kings of the cap because they know what they're doing, and they're switched up again. They're going to keep these guys on their toes, and so far it looks like, well, actually, they're in a fairly even exchange position here. Durs in a great little spot, but it doesn't matter. The fight's going to come in, and look at this. Aerojack's in a little bit of trouble there. He's going to be sent scurrying away in that T-37. So
little damage towards WUSA. You've got the T-54 again. That middle area is very important. It's taken by the LTTBs for WUSA and that T-54 for Strong Siema. Now, I would prefer to be in WUSA's position because I've got a load of IS-3s and a 110, great at taking damage from the front. But then again, Strong Siema is very quick to adapt. You know, they're just heading around, going left, right, and center, keeping WUSA on their toes, keeping them guessing. And they have actually got a good position now. You got Catch Me, Lukashiasti, the T-54s in general, behind WUSA.
And I'm scared of this one working out for them because these guys, they've been so good at this, and this will be such a quick game. I want to see more of this prowess, but Roofy's low. Hallucinogen already caught out. That 110 trying to back up the IS-3 there, and in these sort of corridors, it's not always so powerful, but Speed, great play from him individually, heading down that 4 line, getting around the back, helping out Guccio, and getting the damage done. Stronk again holding their own, but look, here comes Stefan, here comes Durs, and Catch Me has been caught out. And well, this is a back and forward game again.
But WUSA now has the higher ground. They got Durs and Stefan in a fantastic position where they might be able to actually bring the actual tanks back into their favor, but still I think Strong Siema are leading. They got more HP, they got tanks together, and they just need to continue going forward, keep WUSA on the back foot.
And Speed being able to do this damage. He just caught Siege, put him down to a 1-shot. He's done damage towards Roofy, and just getting control of that 4 line gives you so much viability to that eastern side of the map. You can lay in the crossfire, it's limiting where WUSA can go, but still a 1-for-1 exchange comes through. 4 tanks left with Stronk, 4 on the side of WUSA, and they are in these tight-knit corridors, and Racing's actually in trouble. He's in a 2v1. He has no shells to make. He doesn't have a shell available. He's not off reload. Speed's trying to come in, but Stu finds Roofy, and this game is still not decided. Racing makes it away, and Speed comes into the action, tries to get into the battle. The Lion runs away, but kill after kill coming in for WUSA. Now Steroids and Speed, the last 2 alive here. Neither has a shell to be made. Speed was a little bit too late to this party, finally makes it across, but Stefan is on 1k, the Lion down to 80. But I don't think Speed can pull this one off.
No, and some very questionable play by Steroids. He went for line even though one of his teammates had already damaged the tank down to a 1-shot, and that definitely didn't help. He also missed a couple of shells in that round, which gave WUSA the edge in many respects. So, that was very back and forwards. I think WUSA did the right job there. They got the LTTBs off the middle area. They said, Speed, you can have that one, but we're going to put all of our tanks in there, win the engagements, and make sure we actually have the higher ground at the end of the day.
And I almost feel that we finally saw the difference of player caliber as well in the more kind of regulated, let's say, fight. So when Stronk can't define everything in a game, it can go WUSA's way, because WUSA has almost not necessarily better players, but they have that better synergy together. They kind of work a little bit better when they're playing as one in a more standardized way. But when you can see Stronk then pulling them out of that comfort zone, you can see the other individuals doing really well. So I don't know what to make of this so far. It's still up in the air, I think.
I think WUSA does have better players, full stop. I think they've got
I didn't want to say that because I'm not mean.
They're more well-rounded in many respects. And I think we saw how that worked there, where we had an engagement in the city where a lot of coordination and a lot of quick timing comes into effect. I think Strong Siema had the better tactic, you know, being very fast with that T-54 in the middle, rotating very fast around, dragging WUSA with those heavy tanks to the left side of the city, and then getting the higher ground. But I think the individual play comes into the equation. There's an Ichter as well. We've got Siege, Vitline all playing out of their socks, basically, to keep WUSA in this game. But still, it depends, you know. Did Stronk Siema expect to have two very strong tactics on the attacking side and as well as on the defensive side? I'm not sure.
That's the big question here. What do they have on the defensive side, and has WUSA played it out?
This is the plot point where it's won and lost. Stefan does a Nikta above Stronk Siema. They just cut them in half. Siege, Vitline immediately out of the equation, playing around the city, not letting speed get peaks.
It's just, it's so hard to watch though, because Stronk seem to have, you know, great ideas, but then sometimes they just, you know, you can't always pull off those one-dimensional strategies. The strategy they played in the first round was fantastic, of course, but then you can't do that time and time again. How much variation can you bring out as a new team? You know, you can't just do these strategies time and time again. So, I don't know. I want to see what they can now do. I want to see if WUSA has been playing this map. It's another big point. Have WUSA actually practiced this map enough to work out the attacking side here?
I think they look a little bit practiced there. Just because of the lineup, I mean, double LTSB is always interesting, but the attacking side is a completely different beast. I think attacking side on this map is one of those ones where you do have to do something different. I mean, you can't always say, okay, the defensive side just going to get that church here. They're just going to get that right side, the kind of eastern city area, and we're just going to win via brawl like we saw in that round. You have to have something different, something special, at least in one of your two attacking rounds to win.
Well, hopefully we see what they have in store very soon. The team's, of course, just preparing themselves. They get to kind of take a little bit of time during the switch of the half and just, you know, make sure everything's ready, and they may need to repick their tanks. Who knows? Who knows what these teams are doing during the break? We don't know. They disappear. They vanish. But we'll be getting underway very soon. And I know you guys have been going wild on Twitter. It's absolutely fantastic. You guys even trying to say wakey, wakey to WUSA. The happy porcupine reappears again, telling them to wake up, guys. It's time to go. And we are seeing artillery in play.
So, this
what on earth?
Ooh.
Well, that was a little bit different.
Some very aggressive play by Stronk Siema. Again, those T-54s being brought out in bulk, but they have got the 110 and the IS-3s as well, so they are going for that one. But we're seeing at least strong WUSA going perhaps a little bit of the Team Supreme style with that artillery, but again, Stronk Siema don't want to give them any inch. They want to push forwards and get control of that eastern village.
It looks like Stronk's still on the attack for some reason. These guys are just going straight in. They want to just take out Carvey, take out Siege, and challenge down Hallucinogen. And Aojic's taking a lot of damage, but he's in the tank that probably is the one that he'd want to receive it on, if any. And here we go. Carvey now is in trouble. Two tanks tearing him down. No damage comes in. That's massive. That's buying time for Stefan, Vitline, and Durs to reinforce the WUSA numbers, because Stronk are just encroaching forward and forward, but Carvey's still alive behind them. They're not killing these tanks as they go along. They're not taking them down. And Racing now has to turn turret. He needs to turn his attention back, and this is scrappy as hell, but somehow Stronk are holding on.
You have to actually make sure you get the tank you wanted to kill last dead before you move on to the next. That's a big mistake from Stronk Siema, but still they're making this work for them.
Just about. I don't know how, with a little bit of duct tape and a wing and a prayer maybe, because Steroids is now still fighting. He takes down Stefan. He was on absolutely 0 HP. He's still alive. Finally goes down, but it's down to 3 tanks for WUSA. 2k against 1.2, but maybe Vitline can pull this one back. Durs is doing the damage, and Lucas and Speed are low. Aojic is low. These guys could fall, but Racing in the T-32 just trundles into the battle, but Vitline and Roofy now. Last two alive. Vitline is the one who can change this, but I don't know if he can pull this one off.
Ooh, and Racing gets that shot as well. Vitline on his own against 4, finds Racing. Fantastic work by Vitline, one of my favorite players of all time. But still now on 300 HP, that's a one shot for Nias 3. 2 shots for those 2 T-54s, but 2 of those T-54s at the same time are one shots. So Vitline in a bit of an awkward situation, but this is still manageable.
But let's remember, Stronk are on the defense. They can now just sit back and relax if they want to. They can sit there and say, all right, you do what you want. They've got enough speed left with the T-54s, they can catch up to Vitline on both caps, and then they've got the HP on the IS-3 if you know, somehow those two die doing so. This is such a hard predicament now for this man to deal with.
Well, we saw almost a similar situation when Supreme played this map last. They were in the cap, and then we had the 59-16, but Vitline on Guzio.
Vitline just does a little bit of a drive-by. He's got to go for the hit and run. He does a little bit of damage and keeps going. He's got 3 minutes to pull this one off. He knows where the IS-3 is now. Can he put together the pieces of the other two? Oh, it doesn't matter. Lucas on the cross, showing that prowess. And Stronk pick up the game.
Super aggressive from them, I have to say. I mean,
did anyone tell
aggressive.
them they were on the defensive side?
Very aggressive. I'm not sure. I think there's two things there. First of all, that is one of the viable tactics on the defensive side. You see that the other team's got artillery, and you just go aggressive because you always know that they can have minimum one tank, which is not up to par. So you just go aggressive, push in, do some damage. It goes pretty sloppily for them. I mean, Carvy's down to half HP, and then they don't manage to kill him for another 30 seconds. But you can see the WUSA flooding back into the village, again being super slow. This is the theme I have to say for WUSA this whole match. They're just very slow to the chase. They don't really have good map awareness.
And it looked sloppy at this point. It was a sloppy start from Stronk by not taking down Carvey as quickly as they should have done. It was a good 20-odd seconds he had time alive. But regardless, there was no punishment coming out from WUSA because they were all over the place. Durs on his own, got Siege just kind of being 1v2'd here by T32 and IS3 with no one else able to help him out. Yeah. Stu, though, stays alive for a surprising amount of time here after taking down Stefan. Almost had reload available, got dealt with, but it's a lack of coordination, a little bit of a lack of focus fire, and I think overall Stronk came in with a game plan, they executed it, and they deserve this win from start to finish.
Seems to me when Stronk really wants to beat a team, they do manage to beat them. As I said, you know, no mercy 5-0. WUSA put up a little bit more of a fight with a 5-2, but still not a great scoreline for WUSA at least. But Stronk, two things, you know. First of all, they seem to be playing better as a team, and you know all those elements of the Lucky Crackers, the Evil Panda squads, you know, all those kind of players coming together and meshing together is fantastic to see. And the second thing is they seem to be training. They seem to have a good eye for tactics. Kind of reminds me of an early Utopia where they always won based on their tactics as opposed to their individual player skill. So it's great.
No, I absolutely love watching that. And today's play day has been pretty impressive, I think, from start to finish. We had some very good games. I think I was a little surprised at the final one, but starting off, we had an extraordinarily close matchup that was very good fun to watch. Yeah,
Tornado Rocks versus Synergy ended up Tornado surprisingly, you know, taking it 5-4 in that tiebreaker. Of course, it means Tornado only gets 2 points as opposed to the 3. That third point going over towards Synergy. But it was a really amazing match to watch, and it's great to see that Tornado, despite a couple of shaky results, are still a very contentious team.
I can't agree more. And then following that, we had ASAP against Penta. Now, Penta looked a little shaky in that first round, but after that, they just kind of buckled down, looked strong, and ASAP just seemed to run out of steam. But this final game, WUSA up against Stronk. Now, this was something that I looked at on paper, I was like, well, and I'll be honest, you know, I thought that was going to be a very clean game in favor to WUSA. I thought, got my little notes here, you know, it's going to be a nice, easy, maybe 5-1, something like that. Yeah. You know, it's WUSA. These guys are meant to be, I wouldn't say a top 3 team, but well within the top 6. Pushing maybe higher, you know, if you looked at their lineup in previous times, and you could argue now, but...
Yeah, I mean, they went to WCG, they went to the Grand Finals 2014.
They're a big team.
They came 5th at season 4 finals as well, so...
seeing them losing out like this is
really good team.
Surprising. That's the thing, they are a good team.
And also at season 5 finals, they also came 4th, I believe, so...
Yeah, they are a good side. They have normally very good tactical ability. They have standout players. They have like a well-rounded, you know, idea of what makes a good team. But we saw none of that today. We saw Siege kind of falling for tactics that surprised us, being caught out by ingenious plans made by the Poland Ball. You know, Stronk has just come out all guns blazing, going, all right, we're going to do this strategy. We're going to play our own game. We'll make you, you know, eat out of the palm of our hands and then go all the way across to the other side of the map. So absolutely fantastic play today. But of course, we're in the regular season. This is match week 4. We've got lots more action coming up for you, and that'll be going down, I believe, on the 9th. And here are the games. No Mercy up against Utopia, Kazna against Penta, and Ding against Supreme.
So No Mercy versus Utopia, a Polish clash of the Titans. Super interesting. Always like to see the Polish teams go against each other. Penta versus Kazna, I mean, that's an old school matchup and one I love to watch. Of course, Kazna crew besting Penta in most outings of that one. Ding Supreme, I mean, Supreme could be tested by Ding. They've had some interesting results and some good results, so Supreme have to train for that one for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one, and we've got a little surprise. You know, I won't be casting it. I'll be doing social media. I'm not as good as Melly, but you know,
about that.
Yeah, I know, that's gonna be fun.
Face.
I'm gonna be sat over there.
abuse you so much.
No, you're not, because I'm far more witty than you. I can't wait for it. I'll start lobbing pens at your head. It's fine. That seems to be the dumb thing.
That's a good way to do it.
That'll be my chair. There you go, guys. I'll be sat there looking a little bit lost, going, "Why aren't I casting the video games, Mum?" But you know, Mitch will be here. The Australian guy.
We can swap around. It depends on the old.
All right, should we do like a vote? Should we do a vote? We'll do a straw poll in Twitch chat and say like, if Mitch does bad,
the first game,
he can
the
switch.
Old switcheroo.
We'll see.
Mitch could be the new social media dog of the office.
I reckon he could be. I reckon he could sit on this side, Melly on that side, and we'll have like the social media team. It'd be like the weather and social media. You know what I mean? That'd be fantastic.
Weather outside in Cologne, very hot. End.
It's really warm. Thanks, Mitch. I kind of want to make this happen now. I think we've got a new plan for content. Stephen, don't worry, we got your back. We really come up with some great ideas here. But anyway, guys, that is it for this Playday. Do tune in, I believe, on the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed the 9th of July to catch the 3 games you just saw on your screen. So, No Mercy against Utopia, Kazna against Penta, and to wrap it up, Ding against Supreme. And that is it from us today. Myself, They Call Me Pansy on Twitter. This one, Laughter WOT on Twitter. Make sure you follow us, give us your support. Make sure you hit that follow button down below on this Twitch channel because, you know, every time we go live, you get notified, and that's really awesome. Also on Twitter and Facebook /WGLEU. All simple, all done. That's my spiel ended. It's been a great Playday. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you join us on the 9th.